Hello, and welcome back to my channel for another Pick a Card reading. Today's reading is going to discuss what the universe wants you to know. So just take a moment to pause the video if you need to, but take a moment to meditate with these cards and let your intuition guide you as you decide which card or cards you feel most drawn towards. And I will also have the timestamps of these readings listed in the description of the video as well. But with our first group and our first card here, we have this red carnelian. With our second group, we have the green adventurine. And with our third group, we have the rose quartz. So just take a moment with these cards and let your intuition guide you as you decide which group or groups you feel most drawn towards. Hello, group number 1. This is going to be a reading about what the universe wants you to know. So I'll go ahead and we will reveal this card. This is the card that you chose. This is going to be the overall underlying energy of the reading. Pretty much, I guess, what you could consider as the main theme of the reading. So I'll go ahead and reveal what this card is, and after that, I will also draw a few more tarot cards to get a little bit of a bigger picture about what the energies are currently as far as what the universe wants you to know. And then I will pull some oracle cards as well to get a little bit more further insight and guidance within this reading. So let's see what the overall theme and energy of this reading is going to be. Okay, so we have the wheel, which is the Wheel of Fortune. So I will discuss this in a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and draw some more tarot cards here as well. So we will go ahead and give these a shuffle. I always like to take my time as I shuffle the cards to let my intuition guide me. And everyone has their own way of shuffling these cards too. There's not any wrong or right way to do it. I just do what works best for me. And I usually like to get about three more cards because sometimes with these readings, I really find that less is more. Okay. Let's see what we have. Very interesting. So I just want to make sure you can see all of these. So with our first card, as far as the overall theme of the reading goes, we have the wheel, which is the Wheel of Fortune. So this card usually indicates that the fate and the destiny of your luck, of your karma, is gradually beginning to shift. This card usually indicates new good luck coming forth within your life. This also has a lot to do with your karmic themes within your life as well. This really tells me that what you've been putting out into the universe is beginning to come back to you. And this usually this can be for better or worse. So this really tells me that your luck is beginning to either take a turn for the better or the worse, depending on what kind of energy you have been putting forth out into the universe. And this card, it's usually a sign that things are going to work out for the best for you. This really tells me that the choices that you've been making have really been coming back to you karmically. Things are beginning to come full circle, like the wheel itself. Things are beginning to come full circle, and your luck, your fortune, your destiny is beginning to be revealed to you in many different ways. But this isn't to say that you should be worried if you necessarily haven't been putting positive energy out into the universe. This is a learning opportunity, and there's not really any way to sugarcoat it. But if you haven't been embodying your highest self, not even necessarily your highest self, but if you've been making choices that you're not proud of, if you have been putting forth negative energy out there, this kind of tells me that that could have some kind of karmic results for you. And this isn't to scare you or imply that you have made bad choices, but I think this is also a chance for you to check in with yourself and to be very honest with yourself about what kind of energy you are embodying and what kind of energy you are putting out there. And just being honest with yourself and holding yourself accountable when it comes to the energy that you are embodying on a day-to-day basis. Making sure that your choices are aligned with spirit and aligned with your higher intuition. But anyway, this really just tells me that the change of your luck could be in store for you. Either this is happening now, this is manifesting currently, or this will manifest for you within the near future. Or maybe you're moving out of a cycle where things haven't necessarily gone so well, or things are beginning to take shape in a better form for you in the long run. So just take this reading as it resonates and just ignore what doesn't, because ultimately you know your situation, your life, and your energy better than anyone else does. So I really feel very positively about this card, and I think that you are beginning to reap some rewards for your efforts. And most likely you are being karmically rewarded as you have put in the work to embody a more aligned and higher vibrational form of being within the universe. And the universe sees that and wants to really show you that these things really do come full circle, and we do truly manifest what the intentions that we put out there. And that it's best for us to check in with ourselves and make sure that we are truly that we are creating the life that we want for ourselves, because things do have a way of coming back around again. Now, we have the Five of Wands here also, which tells me that it could be that right now, or maybe previously, you've had a difficult situation involving some kind of conflict in your life. This doesn't necessarily have to be a serious conflict. It could be just a little petty argument, or just some kind of ego clash, some kind of conflict involving the ego, and maybe several parties have been acting from a place of lower states of consciousness. And this could also involve some kind of competition, some kind of rivalry, competition. It doesn't necessarily have to be a very serious fight or even a fight necessarily, but an argument, some kind of conflict, some kind of ego clash of some sort. But I could also see this as involving some kind of work competition, some kind of contest within your workplace of wanting to climb the ladder to the top. And maybe you've not necessarily been feeling your best, and feeling like you always have to put your needs to the side and not act from a place of alignment because of the way that our society is structured, and how many of us often feel like we are in that competition, and that there's not room for multiple souls to shine brightly, and for us to illuminate the path from our own way and from our own state of being. Just feeling like there's not room for all of us to express our own unique gifts and what we have to offer the world. But anyway, I think this is a time for you to perhaps come back to center and just take a deep breath and really, really come back to center and allow yourself to let all those conflicts, let all those petty arguments go, because ultimately only you know what's best for you. And if something isn't aligned with your highest good, then it's probably best to have that honesty and to do whatever you can in order to free yourself from that situation. But this doesn't necessarily have to be something that's negative or toxic. It could just be a friendly competition. But I think that it is causing some kind of stress for you to some degree or another. Like I said, I think it's a good idea to come back to center and trust in the universe, trust in spirit, and to let your higher self guide you so you are acting from a place of embodied alignment within your life. And this isn't to say that all competitions are a negative thing. I think that competitions can be a healthy form of a way for us to strengthen ourselves, and so we can really practice what we're passionate about, and to get constructive feedback in a way that really helps us grow and expand and develop further within our lives. So I hope that makes sense. Then for our next card here, we have the Page of Cups. So this card to me really speaks of having a very active imagination, having a very sweet and tender inner child presence within your life as well. And this isn't to say that you aren't a strong or a tough person, but I think that there is a bit of curiosity and a bit of a creative child in your spirit that really wants to blossom forth for you, and perhaps wants to really leave those conflicts, those rivalries behind in the past, and really just wants to express yourself creatively and to really be curious about what inspires you from the heart and from the soul. Doing things that you're passionate about and interested in. And like I was saying, I really see this as a beautiful form of creative self-expression. This could be painting, this could be doing ceramics, this could be dance. Whatever you feel creatively drawn towards. This could even be making videos. Whatever you feel passionate about, whatever you feel curious about, I think this is a beautiful time for you to follow that creative spark and really explore and really be curious about what it is that lights you up from the inside out, and what you want to have fun with. This isn't necessarily something that is going to make you a bunch of money, or that you might not even be recognized for this, but this is something to do for your own fulfillment, for your own joy, for your own happiness. And ultimately, if you're living passionately, if you're doing something that brings you this immense joy, that helps you feel that alignment with your higher self and with spirit, with the universe, then that is definitely not a waste of time. And I think it's a good idea to maybe take time out of this struggle, of this competition, of always having to climb to the top of the ladder, to take a moment to take a deep breath and really, really have that moment of centered stillness where you allow yourself to tune back into that inner child, to listen to what they want and what they need, and do something that allows you to follow that creative spark and that curiosity as you develop your sense of emotional maturity as well. Because ultimately, I think a lot of the time these inner conflicts, this could even be an inner conflict as well, inner or external conflicts, have a way of keeping us out of sync within our own inner being and our own intuition. So yes, I think this is a beautiful opportunity for you to listen to that higher self and for you to further develop it as well, to listen to those emotional undercurrents within your soul and to really follow that, to really trust that and to embody it. And then for our next tarot card here, we have the Six of Cups. This really tells me, this kind of brings me back to that overall theme of the reading with the Wheel of Fortune, that things are beginning to come full circle for you. So this card really tells me that things are beginning to reveal themselves. Something from the past is revealing itself and resurrecting itself in a certain sense. And this could be taking a vacation, taking a trip back to your hometown, and just reconnecting with some of the old people that you may have known from the past, from an earlier time in your life, from a different chapter. Reconnecting and rekindling that spark between you. This could be a romantic partner, or it could just be the friends that you used to have, the people that you used to hang out with when you were younger, but reconnecting with them and really, really, really connecting to a sense of nostalgia and connection, reconnecting to connection and nostalgia, and perhaps previous relationships that you may have that may have kind of lost momentum, and people that you may have fallen out of touch with. But yes, this is a good opportunity to maybe explore some of your past and to maybe address something from the past as well, something that's still been unresolved and something that really needs to be dealt with and brought to light. This could involve some kind of shadow work that hasn't really been healed, something within yourself that hasn't been healed or fully seen or loved or brought to awareness. And like I said, that kind of brings me back to that overall theme of that karma really coming full circle. But ultimately, I think that there is going to be a very big change in the overall energy that you are manifesting and that you've been attracting within your life. I think that things are beginning to take a turn for the better overall. And yes, I think there is going to be some conflict. There needs to be some energetic intensity, some entanglements that need to be addressed and dealt with. But I think ultimately you are on the right track and you are figuring it out as you return to that sense of inner child, that sense of curiosity and creativity, though that bright-eyed wonder about the world and what all of this really means, because at the end of the day, no one has all the answers. We're all just figuring it out the best that we can. And I think that this is a beautiful opportunity for you to come back to center and to find that inner sense of trust within yourself, because ultimately you know what's best for you. And when you come back to that higher state of consciousness with that alignment with the universe, I think that this is going to be a beautiful chance for you to really reflect about your overall journey and about things that you've learned along the way, maybe from childhood or from your younger years, with relationships or friendships from the past, or just certain energetic themes that are beginning to resurface for you. So I will now go ahead and pull some of our Moonology Oracle cards here. We'll go ahead and give these a shuffle, and we'll see what else the universe wants you to know. Okay, I want to make sure that you can see all of these here. You can always readjust some things. Okay. Okay, very interesting, very interesting. So with these Moonology cards, our first one that we have here, I just want to make sure that you can see these. I have to kind of overlap. Okay, so for our first Moonology card, we have the first quarter moon in Gemini. And I think it's very interesting because we have a first quarter moon and a last quarter moon here, which tells me that you're kind of at the beginning and the end of a cycle. And I just also wanted to mention that the signs of Gemini or Leo may be of significance for you. You could have placements, astrological placements in either one of these signs. This could be your moon sign or any other placement within your chart as well. So I just wanted to mention that. So like I was saying, that it really seems to me that you're in the beginning and the end of a cycle currently. With this first quarter moon in Gemini, the first quarter moons are a time of the energy and the intentions that you've put out into the universe. They're beginning to slowly manifest. Things are beginning to build momentum. The energy is building momentum and also coming to light, coming into illumination. And the sign of Gemini is all about duality. It's represented by the theme and the symbol of the twins. That duality is something that is very present within yourself. I'm feeling that maybe you really struggle with having those opposing energetic archetypes within yourself. Maybe you feel like you're always pulled in multiple directions, like it's difficult for you to maybe balance those energetic themes within yourself. But with that first quarter moon in Gemini, that really tells me that you are slowly and gradually beginning to understand the nature of duality at a deeper level. And this also mentions to speak your world into being. And the sign of Gemini is also very well known for being a big talker, for being able to articulate things very, very well and very clearly, being very talkative, being very intellectual, and very curious about the nature of life as well, and about understanding that principle of duality. But this is asking you to speak that world into being, and I think this is also going to involve a bit of balancing within yourself. When you maybe ask yourself whether or not you should say something, that yes or no, that black and white, that nature of duality, as I was saying, could be something that is difficult for you to balance and harmonize within yourself. But being very clear about when you speak, making sure that it's coming from a place of higher consciousness, coming from a place of love, I think slowing down and asking yourself these questions to really come into a full state of presence and awareness will be very effective for you to express yourself more clearly and to articulate your desires in a much more constructive way within relationships, within career dynamics. I think this is going to be a very beneficial thing for you to work on, and also to speak your world into being, as in using your words magically to inspire, to create, and to really ultimately manifest that existence that you want to live, that you want to be your reality. But I think this should also be backed up by a solid foundation of action as well. Not just talking about what you want to create, but doing the work, taking that bold, inspired action to actually create that. And I think this really has a lot to do with the theme of relationships, that you and me, that duality, that internal and exterior dynamic. But making sure that those words that you use are coming from a place of love and coming from a place of truth. And also to really to take the actions. If you tell someone that you're going to do something, to also follow it up by the action as well, because no one really likes someone who is full of empty promises. I think it's important to speak these words, to speak those intentions, but like I said, to ultimately follow it up with a a tangible and grounded action as well, to have a plan, to have a strategy for how you want to embody and move that energy forward, to strengthen your relationships and to further harmonize that growing illumination of that duality within yourself. Yes, to harmonize and unify those opposing forces, but also to allow them to have their own individual sovereignty within yourself as well. And then within our next oracle card here, we have the last quarter moon in Leo. So the last quarter moons are a time of release, of letting things go, of letting ourselves integrate the lessons that we've learned over the previous part of the lunar cycle. That integration, that release, and ultimately letting ourselves create that void space for us to ultimately call in a new future for ourselves within the next upcoming cycle. But in order to do that, we have to release, we have to allow there to be that empty space and that darkness within our sense of being also. So for this last quarter moon in Leo, the sign of Leo is all about our sense of self-confidence, our courage, our boldness, our sense of pride, and our sense of being a empowered person in the world, of taking responsibility for our lives. And this card asks us to lighten up. And I really see this as allowing the past to be the past. And we have that theme here with the Six of Cups also, but allowing the past to be in the past, but also addressing the lessons that it has taught us along the way, of learning from the past, but not letting it repeat itself, if that makes any sense, of doing that shadow work and of allowing ourselves to be empowered and to reignite that sense of self-confidence within ourselves, and to release what hasn't served us along this journey, and but also to carry a sense of lightness within ourselves as well, to lighten up and to not let all the shadow work and all the dense, heavy energy to constantly weigh us down and to cloud our judgment, to keep us feeling like we're always stuck within the heaviness and the burdens of that deep, dark, murky work that we sometimes have to do. And that's not saying that it's unnecessary. It definitely very much is necessary, but we can also give ourselves that opportunity to create and to play and to nourish ourselves and to really ignite that spark for ourselves along the way, to ignite that flame within the darkness, to keep us inspired, to keep us feeling like there's hope and feeling like there's a reason to keep going. But I think ultimately that kind of comes back to that idea of balancing that duality and knowing that ultimately we do have to address those conflicts. We do have to address that darkness, and that ultimately what we haven't been consciously aware of and where our energy has been drained, where we haven't necessarily lived from a higher place of consciousness, when we haven't lived in embodied alignment within our journey, that is going to come back, and we are going to have to face it and address it one way or another. But like I was saying, we can hold that flame within the darkness and to light the way forward as we do this work, and to also have a bit of fun along the way too, to reignite that childhood wonder, those new possibilities of the future, and maybe doing something creative to help keep us motivated and inspired and in touch with that inner child who wants to heal and who wants to explore the world, explore those new possibilities, and to not let that diminish our sense of self-confidence and our sense of empowerment within ourselves, to do do the hard work, but to also allow there to be lightness, joy, and a sense of play and creativity present within ourselves along the journey as well. So I'll go ahead and finish this reading by drawing a few more oracle cards from the Work Your Light oracle deck. And with these cards, I'll go ahead and draw a few of these, but I always like to read the descriptions with these because I think they really help further depict that beautiful radiant energy within the themes of these cards here. So I'll go ahead and get a few of these. I may have to move some things around to make sure you can see all of these. Okay. So our first card that we have here is Mirror. Who or what is triggering you? And then we also, make sure you see this. And then we also have Lumeria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. So I'll go ahead and read these descriptions. I just really want to make sure that you can see these beautiful cards. Okay, so give me 1 second here. Okay, Mirror, who or what is triggering you? The filter of our own experience is how we experience life 90% of the time. Through our own projections, when someone reminds us of an unhealed experience, we get triggered. Often it's an unconscious thing. People and situations can trigger our mirrors to reflect back to us what we believe to be true about life, the universe, and ourselves. Mirrors pointing to our shadow and our light. Mirrors revealing the parts of us that are yet to be accepted, witnessed, or loved. This card is guiding you to look closely at what experiences or people are currently triggering in you and what they could be mirroring back to you. When have you felt like this before? Could they be opportunities to heal something in you? Or are they shining a light on something that longs to be witnessed in you? This goes for the good and the bad. The good, those who we admire and put on a pedestal. If we do not realize that we are attracted to them because we are like them, we will need to cut them down in order to rise to their level. The bad, those we despise, are envious of, and put down. If we do not realize that they trigger something in us, then it is still yet to be healed, and we will remain hurt and wounded ourselves. Who or what is triggering you? What is it in you that they are triggering? What part of you longs to be witnessed? So I think this is a very interesting energetic theme here. And this really kind of brings me back to that idea of that competition, that comparison here with this Five of Wands. This really kind of brings me back to that theme, and how ultimately we really need to be honest with ourselves about what kind of energy we are embodying, and asking ourselves, is it aligned with that higher path, that higher purpose? Because when we fall into that trap of comparison, ultimately it doesn't leave us feeling good about ourselves or about the other people. That I think it's important to remember that life isn't always a competition, and that there's room and there's space for all of us to shine in our own unique ways. And I could also see this as maybe having to do with a sense of low self-esteem. Maybe this could involve having negative body image, or feeling unworthy in some sense, feeling like who you are isn't good enough, and maybe comparing yourself to other people, tearing yourself down, not allowing yourself to embody that curious, creative potential within yourself, because you second guess yourself, you criticize yourself, you maybe speak cruelly to yourself in a lot of ways. But maybe as you compare yourself to others, it leaves you feeling depleted, feeling drained, and also feeling those really low vibe emotions, and just feeling like there's like feeling jealous of others and feeling like you're unworthy, and that ultimately leads to a greater sense of unhappiness. But as you hold that mirror up to yourself, I think it's important to remember that everything that you might be envious of in others is something that can be developed within yourself. And remembering that you do have that inherent worth. You are innately worthy. Your existence should be a sign that you have an important purpose, because just thinking of the great miracle, the great improbability that it is that you even exist is really a divine gift, and that should be in itself a sign to you that you are special, you are worthy, and you are here for a very important reason, and that it doesn't do anyone any good to compare ourselves, because at the end of the day, like I was saying, we all have our unique light to share and to shine, and we all have our own special gifts and energies to embody within this life and this existence. And you are beautiful, you are worthy, and you're special and you're important. And I'm not just saying that. I think this is something that a lot of us struggle with at a very deep level. But remembering that who you are is infinitely worthy, infinitely good enough, and there's really nothing to worry about, because when you're aligned with your higher self, with spirit, with the universe, you can really let that guide you, and trust that you are acting from a place of love and acting from a place of worthiness. And when you decide to look in the mirror, make sure you're really doing it from a place of consciousness. You're not, when you look in the mirror, I guess what I'm trying to say is, next time you look in the mirror, take a moment. I think you should ultimately start with looking in your eyes. Don't look at your body. Don't do it as a form of punishment, as a form of disrespect, and as something to torture yourself with. I think every time you look in the mirror, it should be an act of love and an act of appreciation for the fact that you even have a body, that you even get to exist within this dimension, within this life, and that we all have something beautiful about ourselves. I think you should begin with looking into the depths of your own eyes and realizing that there is so much beauty, so much worthiness, and so much strength within yourself, and that it's simply a form of torture and disrespect for you to tear yourself down and look for things that are unworthy about yourself. Because if you can come back to that moment of pause, of stillness, of surrender, of really gazing into the eternity, the infinity of your soul by looking in your eyes, I think that will ultimately take you back to that place of appreciation, gratitude, and knowing that there is a divine, unique, and radiant spark within yourself that is irreplaceable. And it's something that you can't even compare to other people, because it is your own unique, divine presence within this life. And it's something to be extremely grateful for. And I know it's easier said than done, because the way that our society is structured and the way that we are conditioned to always look for something outside ourselves, to always be trying to fix ourselves. But I think that it's extremely important for you to really, truly, to have that knowing that you are so worthy and so loved and so beautiful, and that everything's going to be okay. That when you return to that sense of centeredness and that inner joy, that inner creativity, that curiosity about life, that kind of helps those comparisons and those triggering thoughts to kind of fall to the side, to at least give yourself a break from them, so you can enjoy life a little bit more. And and so you can walk in the light. Now, I'll go ahead and read our final oracle card here. We have Lumeria. Okay. Lumeria, creating heaven on earth, it's happening. Lumeria, or Mu, is one of the Earth's lost lands where heaven really was a place on earth. A time before we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. In Lumeria, life worked in harmony. All beings were seen as equal, and we were deeply reverent to Mother Earth. We knew that a mosquito was no worse than us, and the sun no better. Perhaps you too believe that heaven really can be a place on earth. Perhaps you are part of the transition team who, at a soul level, are devoted to creating this kind of harmony on the planet now. Thank you for wanting to do this work. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the state of affairs on the planet right now, but you are being encouraged to keep holding the clear vision of the future. It is closer than you think. You may be guided to hold the frequency of Lemuria in your own community, family, workplace, or within yourself. Know that it is possible, and while at times it may feel like you are alone, you truly are not. There are hundreds of thousands who hold the codes of this ancient lost land, and even Lemuria crystals that hold the codes of remembering that are beginning to rise all over the planet. Keep doing what you are doing, and remember, the only way to heal the world around us is to first heal ourselves. I hold the codes of Lemuria and believe that heaven really can be a place on earth. So I think this card is really interesting. And whether or not you believe in the idea of the Garden of Eden and that kind of Christian-y stuff, I really see this as more of a representation of that sense of unity and that sense of enlightened and state of wholeness that transcends duality. And whether or not you believe in that idea of Lemuria and star seeds and everything like that, like I said, I think you can look at this card from a interpretation of that transcendence of duality and creating that place of heaven, that sanctuary, that feeling of that enlightened place of wholeness and serenity as something that is manifested here within a 3D reality. So creating that sanctuary for yourself and allowing yourself to be, rather than being in a state of comparison and judgment and that harsh and critical outlook on life, see ourselves as a infinite and unified source of collective consciousness rather than different beings that have to be compared to each other, and how there's that separation within humanity. And I think that we are all individuals. We all have our own unique note to play within the symphony of the cosmos. But ultimately, I think this card really tells me that it would be beneficial for you to allow yourself to transmute those energies of comparison and of judgment and of having that harsh critical outlook about life and about yourself, but to see others as not as competitors, but to see us all as a beautiful and collective soul family. And that's not necessarily saying that you have to resonate with everyone's viewpoint, or you have to think that you have to think that something that you don't agree with or that is detrimental is okay. But ultimately, I think this is saying that we kind of have to rise above those little petty differences and see the bigger picture about how we all are connected, and how there is unity within humanity, and the fact that we're all here at the same time is extremely improbable. How these co-incarnations are affecting everyone, how our own unique energetic signatures have how all those different notes are coming together collectively to influence the entirety of that cosmic infinite symphony, if that makes any sense. But yes, I think this is really a sign that you can create this sanctuary for yourself and come together with others to rise above the differences and the illusion of separation, because ultimately we can really, if we really put our effort into it and we put our heart and our soul into it to rise above that duality and to transmute that separateness, I think that we can really create beautiful things within the world. And I just wanted to go ahead and say that I think that this is ultimately that turning of the wheel, that new and beautiful karma is beginning to unfold for you as you rise to a higher state of consciousness, and how you have that greater sense of clarity within yourself to hold that light within the darkness, to rise above any lack of confidence, and to know that you are infinitely worthy and part of something that's much bigger and much greater than just existing alone within this life and within this consciousness. Reconnecting to that inner child, that beautiful force of creativity and curiosity about life, and knowing that these conflicts are happening, they're happening for you, not to you, to help you rise above and to help you cultivate a greater level of strength within yourself and a greater level of hope. And that you can unify this nature within yourself that constantly battles between those opposing forces and those opposing dynamics, to really harmonize and to unify that nature of duality, but to also allow there to be that individuality and that sense of sovereignty as well. But to know that things are beginning to unfold for you in a much more beautiful and harmonious kind of way. So I really see that within the future, and currently there's definitely a lot of beautiful and radiant energy in store for you here, group number 1. So thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute privilege to bring you this reading. And if this reading touched you or brought you a good amount of insight, I would really appreciate it if you would consider leaving a tip. I'll have my Venmo and Cashapp listed within the description, but I just wanted to say that it's never expected, but it's always very much appreciated. And I'm sending you so much love, so much light, and so many blessings along your journey. Thank you so much. Hey, Group 2, and welcome to your reading about what the universe wants you to know. So I'll go ahead and reveal this card that you chose, and this is going to be the overall energetic theme of the reading. So I'll go ahead and reveal this card, and then I'll go ahead and discuss it in a moment. I'm going to draw a few more tarot cards, then followed by some oracle cards as well, to get a bigger picture about what the universe wants you to know. So we'll go ahead and reveal this card. Okay, so we have the 7 of Cups. I'll go ahead and discuss this in a moment. This is the overall theme of the reading, but I'm going to go ahead and get some more tarot cards here. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these, and taking my time, following my intuition about what the universe is trying to tell you right now. So we're going to go ahead and reveal these cards. Very interesting. So I think it's really interesting. Well, first of all, we have 7 of Cups, 8 of Cups, and 9 of Cups all consecutively. So I think this is really interesting. I'll go ahead and discuss that in a moment. But let's begin with talking about the overall energetic theme of this reading. We have the 7 of Cups, which is all about choices. So I think right now you're probably in the middle of making some big life choices. This could be about a relationship, about a job, a new opportunity. Maybe you have a lot of different options about how you want to move forward into the future. This could be about deciding whether or not to move to a new place, or about, like I said, about continuing with a relationship. I really think that this may involve probably some of the biggest choices you've made in your life, and maybe you feel some conflicting feelings here. Maybe you're worried about letting someone down or about letting yourself down, feeling some anxiety about where to turn next, about whether or not you want to continue with something in your life. So, yes, this energy is all about choices, and I think once you tap into that sense of intuition within yourself, that you'll know what the right choice is, that you'll know that you'll be able to trust what to do next, and that the universe has your back, that you are headed in the right direction. So having that faith, having that trust and surrender to know that you are divinely guided and that you're ultimately going to make the right choice. And even if things don't go well immediately, or you feel like you've made the wrong choice, ultimately I think that you will understand in the future why things had to happen the way that they did in order for you to grow and develop further as a soul. So, yes, I think that the overall energy of this reading is about choices. And we have the 8 of Cups here next. Like I said, I think it's very interesting how we have this progression of this choice. And with the 8 of Cups, this is all about walking away where we feel unfulfilled in life, where things haven't worked out for us. Many times the most difficult choice is the one to walk away. And like I said, this could have to do with leaving behind a relationship, a job, something that's been energetically draining to you, something that's been depleting you on a spiritual level, and walking away from this small flame, walking into the sun, knowing that there are going to be brighter opportunities waiting for you in the future. That if you are able to tap into that sense of empowerment in order to walk away, in order to surrender and trust that something greater and something so much more beautiful and radiant is headed your way. But ultimately, I think that it's time for you to make that choice to walk away from something that is no longer serving you, of something that maybe did serve you in the past, that helped you grow and help you develop yourself spiritually and emotionally on a certain level. I feel a lot of emotional energy here. We also have the energy of Gemini here with the Lovers. I'll get into this in a moment, but we have this energy of emotional duality here, and this progression of energy, this progression of emotional, intuitive, spiritual energy, about maybe making a choice to walk away from something that is currently detrimental for you, but also having that gratitude, having that knowing that whatever that was in your life for a reason, that it did have a purpose to teach you something, and that rather than punishing yourself or beating yourself up for feeling like you've made a poor choice in the past, I think this is also asking you to forgive yourself for for not knowing the things that you did at the time, and how ultimately right now you are headed in the direction of greater empowerment, greater strength, greater clarity, and a greater level of self-love as you head in a new direction of what's going to be more beneficial for you, what's going to serve you and your highest self, knowing that yes, this is not going to be easy, but ultimately it's going to be much more fulfilling, much more gratifying, and that you deserve the best that life has to offer, and that you will be rewarded for this strength and this courage that it takes to make a very difficult decision to walk away. And maybe this is something that you have been resisting also, but ultimately I think that you know what's best for you better than anyone else does. And just and take this reading as it resonates, and obviously ignore what doesn't, but you're going to know what is best for you. And I think if you're honest with yourself, that there is going to be something that you can decide to walk away from, because it's something that's draining your energy. It's something that isn't serving that highest path for you. And this doesn't have to be like letting go of a relationship or leaving behind something that you love. This could be a bad habit. This could be a type of mentality that has been draining on you. So you'll know what it is, but I think that during this time it's important to make wise choices and to find that strength and that bravery to walk away from the past and to walk away from what hasn't been beneficial for you. And we have the Nine of Cups here, which is all about our dreams coming true. It's about our wishes being fulfilled, and really having that key to this treasure chest, having that sense of fulfillment and things working out for you. So this really tells me, by making this choice to walk away from the past and from those old patterns, those old mentalities, that toxic relationship, that draining connection, that this is ultimately going to give you greater freedom, and this is going to give you a beautiful new opportunity to call in what is in true alignment with this new empowered sense of self. Having those dreams come true, that freedom, that wish fulfillment, having that blessing and that beautiful gift come forth for you is going to be extremely, extremely amazing, I think. And I know that that's going to be something that hasn't come easily for you, but I know that it's probably going to be a bit painful to walk away from the past, but ultimately this will result in those dreams coming true, and having that potential be really fulfilled within yourself, and having that space, having that opportunity for these new blessings to manifest themselves, and to really reap those rewards for making those difficult choices, for doing that hard work, and allowing yourself to be liberated in knowing that you deserve these blessings. You deserve the best that life has to offer, and Spirit ultimately wants to reward you for these difficult challenges, and knowing that it has not been easy. And in a lot of ways, this has been probably one of the most difficult decisions you've ever had to make, to walk away from this old path. But I really believe that this is ultimately going to be the game changer that frees you, that liberates you, that lets you truly blossom and prosper in this new fulfillment, and in allowing those dreams to come true for you, and setting yourself free so you can have the time, you can have the space. And this is ultimately going to create that womb space for those new ideas, those new inspirations, those new passions to grow within you, and to allow them to bloom and to come into full fruition. So allowing that space and that emptiness for these new opportunities to come forth, and for these new blessings to emerge, and to really allow that space for Spirit to reward you for those efforts and for that hard work that you've put in order to free yourself, to release yourself from the past, and to really embrace the mystery that is currently happening for you within life. Because when we walk away, sometimes we don't know what the next chapter holds. And just allowing for that surrender, for that mystery to exist, is ultimately that's ultimately an example of the strength that it takes in order to navigate this life, facing the darkness, facing the unknown, but ultimately letting this new beginning, this new potential burst forth from you, and having that emotional fulfillment, also having those many blessings manifest themselves, and letting your dreams and your visions come true by surrendering and by doing the hard work in order to create this foundation for yourself to make a better life, and to surround yourself with people who support your dreams, support your visions, and who ultimately want to give you that energetic space so you can prosper and live a beautiful life that isn't tied down, that's liberated, and that's seen and recognized as a creative and radiant being with so much potential, and so much love, and so many gifts to bring forth into this life. And that you have a very important purpose and a very special gift. But ultimately, I think it's essential for you to be honest with yourself about the choices that you're making, ensuring that these choices are coming from a higher place, that they're coming from love, that they're coming from respect for yourself, and that you're allowing yourself to release these old patterns, these old cycles that had something to teach you, but now we're moving into a more liberated chapter of our lives, and we have to leave the past behind, and really open ourselves up to these new opportunities, and to allow the space for our dreams to manifest themselves. And we have the Lovers here also, which is all about that duality. And it's also about finding that true love, finding that partnership, but also recognizing that there is that separation, that you are both unique individuals, and that you can come together to co-create and to harmonize those opposing forces in a beautiful formation of unity. But ultimately, there has to be that mutual respect, that strong foundation, that unity and that separation, like I was saying about the duality, harmonizing those emotional lessons about duality as well, knowing that you are a sovereign being, and that it's essential that there is that respect and that love and that cooperation between each other. But I really see this as a sign that by making the choice to walk away from something that hasn't served you, that you're opening yourself up to this new blessing, this fulfilled wish of this love coming into your life, and there being this partnership, this marriage of energies, and really feeling that, really feeling held, really feeling connected to another energy, having those threads be sewn together, but also realizing that those threads are their own separate energetic cords as well. So I hope that made sense to you, but I really think this is a beautiful time for you to embrace this new opportunity and to liberate yourself, because I think in doing that, it's going to allow so much more love and happiness to flow into your life. So I'll go ahead and draw some oracle cards here. I'll start with our Moonology deck. We'll go ahead and get some cards here to get a little bit more further insight about what the universe wants you to know. So let's see what we have here. So we have the last quarter moon in Capricorn, leave the past behind. We also have last quarter moon in Pisces, talk less, feel more. So I will just make sure that you can see these cards. Okay, so I'll go ahead and talk about these Moonology cards, and we have two last quarter moons here. So I did also just want to say that you could have astrological placements in the signs of Capricorn or Pisces that may be something that that may be something that's revealing itself for you, but it's completely okay if you don't have placements in these signs. It just might be something to take into consideration. But with these two last quarter moons, this really tells me that you're in the end of a cycle, and this is a time of things being released, of a chapter coming to a close, and releasing and having gratitude for what you've learned over the course of the previous part of the cycle. But like I said, this is a time of release and a time of surrender, creating that space and that void in order for new energy to come forth and to reemerge within the new chapter, the new cycle. So I think that you are releasing something. And the sign of Capricorn is all about our structure, about remaining grounded, remaining practical, putting in the hard work and the dedication in order to manifest our dreams. This is all about holding ourselves accountable. Like I said, putting in that hard work, remaining diligent and persevering through the hardships, and having a serious and disciplined mentality about our work and about the energy that we embody. And this asks us to leave the past behind. And I think this is very interesting because it really kind of connects with this Eight of Cups archetype. So leaving the past behind, walking away from what hasn't served you, what hasn't given you that solid foundation in order to live your life to your highest potential, living life in alignment with that higher spiritual path. But also realizing that it has served a purpose, that in order to let go, we have to kind of imagine that we are going to be rewarded for it. We are going to have our dreams are going to come true, but we have to put in the hard work. And sometimes that hard work involves walking away, and it involves letting go, and also having that respect and that acknowledgement that these lessons have occurred for us for a very good reason, and that this has been a very beneficial opportunity for us to grow and strengthen our sense of self-worth, and to empower ourselves to know that we have what it takes, that by putting in that hard work, we're ultimately going to be greatly rewarded in the end. We are going to find that fulfillment, that love, that peace that we've so desperately been looking for. Now, we also have this last quarter moon in Pisces, which asks us to talk less and feel more. So the sign of Pisces is really all about that letting go, about surrendering to the great vastness and letting the ocean kind of wash us away, surrendering to that higher spiritual potential, that higher spiritual unity and connection, that collective consciousness, knowing that we are part of something much bigger, something indescribable and ineffable. But really releasing those judgments, releasing those judgments of ourselves about perhaps how we haven't always made those aligned, and those choices that aren't really serving us in our higher potential, but forgiving ourselves and really really coming into that place of trust and release, and knowing that we don't always have to figure it out all in one day. And this card asks us to talk less and feel more. And I think I was mentioning how the Lovers is often associated with the astrological sign of Gemini. That could also, you could also have placements within that sign as well. But the sign of Gemini often involves being very talkative, sometimes about speaking before we think, and or speaking in a way that isn't aligned with our heart space and with our soul, but just speaking very, very thoughtlessly in a lot of ways, but not always necessarily. It just kind of depends on the situation, depends on the person, and obviously take this as it resonates. But I kind of see this as maybe a sign to pause, to really feel into your feelings, to think things through clearly and decisively before putting those words out there, to really think about what you're saying before you say it, to use your words and your energy wisely, and to really feel that energy before you put it out there into the universe, because our words and any kind of energetic expression always comes with consequences, whether they be good or bad within the universe. So this isn't to scare you or anything, but I'm just saying that perhaps it's time to be a little bit more mindful about the words that you're using. Or in another way, you could think about this as taking an opportunity to really meditate and to feel into your emotions, into your energetic body. And rather than talking about these feelings, I think it is important to express yourself, to talk things through, but to really sit with it and feel it before expressing it, because in a lot of ways that could ultimately give you a greater sense of understanding by not necessarily looking at it from an analytical perspective, but really understanding this energetic expression as something felt and something experienced in the body, rather than necessarily trying to analyze it from an intellectual perspective, if that makes any sense. And ultimately just tuning into that divine love within yourself. And I could also see this as turning to a loved one, turning to a friend or a partner to help you express these feelings, and to move this energy through you in a healthy and constructive way, letting yourself be held in a space that is safe and supportive, so you can really feel these emotions. You can really give yourself that time and that greater freedom in order to process these things and to integrate them in a healthy way that really helps you live your life in a greater level of alignment, and helps you feel more empowered and more self-aware about what's going on beneath the surface for you. So I'll go ahead and also discuss I'm going to go ahead and draw some more oracle cards from the Work Your Light deck to get a little bit more further insight here. I'm going to finish this reading off with a few more oracle cards. So I'm just going to let my intuition guide me here. I'll show you these cards in just a second. Okay. So this first card that we have is Transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So I'm going to make sure that you can see these two. Okay, we also have Rama, where are you being called to journey to? So I want to make sure that I'm getting these cards in the frame here for you. Okay, so I'll go ahead and talk about this transformation card first. And with this Work Your Light deck, I really like to read the descriptions from the book here because I think they really add help add a whole nother layer to these meanings. So I'll go ahead and read the description here for you. Okay. Transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. Things are changing at a cellular level. You are not who you were a year ago, or who you will soon be. You are in between, emerging, half risen, half falling. Keep doing the work. You are transforming. You will look back at this time with awe. So much is happening in your inner world and within your cells. It's time to release old ways of being that have kept you in fight, flight, freeze mode. To choose a new way of being where trauma is not the driving force. Old childhood patterns are rising to be healed. As you allow yourself to observe them and feel them without attachment, they loosen their grip and fall away. You're being called to find new ways to self soothe. Saturn and the Black Madonna and the African goddess Oshun influence this card. Saturn represents destruction and transformation. The Black Madonna represents the underground and all that has been cast aside. And Oshun represents the tender love of the original mother. A rethreading is happening, healing at the deepest of levels. While you are in this phase, don't put yourself under pressure to perform. You may need to review you may need to review your relationship with your body, perhaps even shifting your self-care routine or getting energetic healing support. You may also need to consider some kind of emotional support as issues from your childhood may come up to be healed. You are deeply loved. I allow myself to receive the deepest healing and transformation for change to happen at a cellular level. So I think this is a very beautiful energy here. And I think it really just speaks to that transformation that you're going through, this progression of energy, walking away from what hasn't served you and leaving the past behind, no matter how painful that may be. This is ultimately helping you upgrade energetically and helping rise to the next level. And that's not to say that this isn't a painful healing process, as most healing processes are, that it's not something to be taken lightly. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. But just know that you are headed in the right direction. And I think this may be a sign for you to really nourish yourself deeply, to really focus on that self-care, your sleep routine, your what kinds of foods are you nourishing yourself with? Are you feeling your best? How are your energy levels? And are you giving yourself that time to not only to rest, but to play also, giving yourself that time for self-expression, for creativity, really giving your body, mind, and soul what they need and helping harmonize these different aspects of yourself in a constructive way to help you really live the best life possible. And ultimately, to give yourself that time, to give yourself that space to heal and to be compassionate with yourself also, because sometimes making that choice to heal, can be a very difficult thing to endure in a lot of ways. And oftentimes, making that choice to walk away from those old patterns and habits in our lives is something that requires us to have a lot more presence and self-awareness and patience, because by going through this process, by allowing ourselves to be reborn in a lot of ways, to letting that phoenix rise from the ashes, we're ultimately opening that space and creating this new potential for these new blessings to come forth for us, and opening ourselves up to that divine love and that divine connection within our lives and within ourselves as well. Harmonizing harmonizing the opposing forces and the nature of duality, both on an internal and an external level. And our next card that we have here is the card of Imrama, and I'll go ahead and read this description here as well. Give me just a second. Okay, Imrama, where are you being called to journey to? The Celtic word Imrama means a journey of the soul, a voyage on which we don't know where we are going, but our souls know the way. If you pulled this card, you are either being called on a soul journey or already are on one. It could be to a physical ancient place or metaphoric. When we journey to places that our soul remembers, a shift takes place, both within us and to the planet as well. You are being called to journey to a place that is sacred to your soul. Perhaps it is a journey to the world's sacred sites, or called to cross the country, climb a mountain, lie on the desert floor, or drink from an ancient well. There are places to see and old friends to meet. I see spontaneous pilgrimages in your future. If a voyage isn't possible, journey through the portal of your heart. Follow the invisible soul trail and be willing to explore. Maybe read a book or watch a movie about a sacred time or place. Or perhaps you are being called to study an ancient lineage or body of work. Whatever your circumstances, your soul is ready to journey deep. May the seeds of light long ago planted begin to rise. I am ready to remember ancient secrets from lands that my soul knows, from times past. May I be held by the ancient lineages that my soul has served, and remember that I don't have to do it all alone. So I think this is a very beautiful principle here within this card, and this really is about the journey of the self, about the journey of the soul, about leaving behind those comfort zones and making the choice to do something brave, to do something bold, and like I said, to take that leap of faith outside of your comfort zone so you can really begin a new chapter for yourself. And by doing this, this is ultimately opening yourself up to exploring the new possibilities, to exploring the mysteries of life and the mysteries of the universe as well. And I think that by embarking on this journey, and you can even kind of see the imagery here, walking away from that comfort zone, from that old place of stagnation, walking into the horizon where you don't know what the future is going to hold, what the next chapter is going to bring, but allowing yourself to be called on this pilgrimage and really surrendering to that great mystery, to that great unknowing, but also having faith that things are going to work out in the best possible way for you. When you have that courage, that faith, and that love to not only show yourself, but to also give to the collective as well, to give to a partner, to give to a friend, to give to a community, by embodying that love, that strength, and that courage to face the unknown. You're ultimately embarking on the journey, I guess what you could call the journey of the human experience itself, and also knowing that you're part of something greater, that greater lineage of ancestors, of people from long ago, the ancient traditions and the experiences that we can't even imagine because they came at such a different time in human history, but also realizing that while there may be differences in the ways of life and the interpretations and the culture, that ultimately we're still having that human experience still comes with that great mystery, that we're more similar than we are different to our ancestors, knowing that mystery still calls us forth to explore and to really ask ourselves these deep questions about what it means to really be human, and what it means to venture outside those those confines of the comfort zone and really allowing ourselves to be inspired by something much bigger, much greater, and broad than our own human experience. Knowing that we all have our own unique and special part to play in all of this, but ultimately there is something this larger and this stronger energetic current that's pulling us forth, pulling us pulling us forward to venture on this journey and embracing our fear and knowing that we have what it takes to overcome it, even if it's not easy, even when it means walking away from everything that we've known, from that feeling of safety, that feeling of comfort. By making that choice to embark on this journey and allow that mystery to exist, it's ultimately going to bring forth so many blessings, new opportunities, and really fulfill that desire within us to understand ourselves and to to know the part that we have to play within all of this, to recognize our gifts and to come back to that sense of unity and love from within ourselves and within our relationships as well, leaving that past behind and really feeling into that deep sacred knowledge within ourselves, because I think our soul really does know the way. We just have to allow ourselves to listen to it, to tap into it, and to let the universe guide us as we work on healing ourselves on this grand and vast, beautiful journey that is this life. So I really do. I really just wanted to thank you so much for being here. And it was an absolute privilege to bring you this reading. And if this reading brought you some greater insight, or if this has touched you in any way, please consider leaving a tip. I will leave my Venmo and Cashapp linked in the description. But as always, it's never something that's expected. It's always appreciated, though. And I'm sending you so much love, so much light, and so many blessings along your journey. Thank you so much. Hello, Group 3, and welcome to your reading about what the universe wants you to know. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal the card that you chose here. This is going to be the overall energy of the reading. And we'll go ahead and reveal what we have. And then I will also go ahead and pull a few more cards as well. So we have the Knight of Cups. I'll discuss this in just a moment after I get a few more tarot cards as well. So we're just going to see what we have here, what the universe wants you to know. Okay. Just want to make sure that you can see these cards. Very interesting. Okay, so I'll go ahead and talk about this. So the overall energy of the reading is we have the Knight of Cups as the card symbolizing this overall energy. So what this tells me is that perhaps you're in a point in your life where it's really time to, I guess you could say, really take in the beauty and the romantic aspects of what it means to exist as a human being. And by that, I mean that sometimes I think we have to really give ourselves the time to stop and smell the roses, to really soak it in and to enjoy the beautiful spiritual gifts that it means to exist with curiosity, creativity, passion, romance, those more lighter hearted aspects of life. And this card usually can this card you can usually represent a romantic partnership, some kind of divine masculine archetype that is wanting to come into your life in a form of partnership. this could represent a partner that you already have, or who is coming forth for you and going to manifest in your life in some way. And I say a divine masculine partner because this doesn't necessarily have to do with gender or sex. This is just an energetic embodiment that we are discussing here. So this could be a new romantic offer, or just the beautiful romantic, dreamy kind of energy. This is what this card represents, that feeling of being able to really stop and take it in, and to really see things from a more lighthearted perspective, giving yourself that time to play, to appreciate creativity and beauty, and just allowing yourself to be loved and appreciated. And if you've come from a period of time in the past where you haven't felt deeply held and safe within your relationships, I think this is really telling me that that's all going to be changing for you, that you are going to have that a beautiful new opportunity, and that new sense of hope within yourself, that new sense of hope of a new beginning, a new chapter in romance is what I'm really feeling here. And I think this is also asking you to allow yourself to reflect on those feelings, to be more aware and in tune with your emotional body, with your emotional existence, allowing creativity to flow forth to you and from you. But what I feel from this card more than anything is that this is giving you a new opportunity to really embrace that divine union, that divine love, that partnership, and allowing yourself to be nourished, allowing yourself to be what's the word I'm looking for? Um, to just kind of allow the more fun, whimsical sides of life to take more of a presence within your awareness. And we have this he's kind of like a Prince Charming sort of figure here within the imagery of this card, but I think this is really asking you to tune in with that sense of romantic inspiration, artistic creativity, and that that wonder and that awe that comes with life, and not necessarily seeing things through rose tinted glasses either, also having that awareness that this is only a part of life, but we should still be able to give ourselves that moment of presence and that moment of connection with these kinds of energetic emotional themes, if that makes any sense. But allowing ourselves to be treated well, and to know that we are worthy of that romantic partnership. We are worthy of this new offer coming forth for us. We're worthy of divine connection, divine love, and of being treated well too. I think that maybe it's possible that some of you have had some very traumatic histories with relationships and partnerships in the past, and this is a confirmation that that pattern is going to be unraveling, and it's going to be reweaving itself, and changing and transforming and transmuting into something so much more beautiful and so much more beneficial for you in the long term. That this is going to give you that opportunity to be safe, to feel held, to feel protected and loved and nourished by that divine masculine presence, and that this person, this energy is going to come forth and really just hold you and leave you feeling leave you remembering that you are worthy, and that you have everything it takes within yourself to slow down and to take a moment of presence, to appreciate the beauty around you, like I was saying, to stop and smell the roses every now and know that there are so many beautiful gifts that this life has to offer for you, and to give yourself a moment to really take it in and appreciate it. I guess that's what I'm really trying to say here. So with our next card, we have the Queen of Cups, which is all about that nurturing and nourishing spiritual energy, tuning into those intuitive capabilities, those psychic abilities within yourself, and to really nurture that emotional, energetic presence within yourself, to trust and to surrender to the universe when things feel very big, very heavy, knowing that you can trust your intuition, that you can tap into that protective, mothering, nurturing energy within yourself. And that could mean this could be a representation of an actual mother figure in your life, or some kind of feminine energy that you feel very closely connected to, and that helps you come back to that sense of center and that feeling of divine trust within yourself. These energies could also be something that are happening internally for you. There's always many layers to this, and these energies can always manifest internally or externally or both. So that's also something to keep in mind, and just always take this as it resonates. But what I'm really feeling from these cards here, there's also this progression here with the Knight of Cups and then the Queen of Cups. And I think you're really coming into a time where you're learning how to tune in to your emotions at a deeper level, learning to trust that those emotions have a powerful message for you, and that you can really learn to that learning your you can learn to know that it's okay to soften every now and then, that you can take that pause, you can take that rest when you need to, and allow yourself to tap into those intuitive abilities, knowing that you are headed in the direction of developing these new insights, developing this greater perspective about life, and trusting that you can trust that divine internal wisdom within yourself, and to also allow yourself to feel your emotions in a healthy way, to allow them to wash through you, and to let them go when their time has come. Also, to not fall into that trap of attachment, and to allow yourself to energetically and emotionally purge these energies when they begin to fester, and when they become stagnant within you. It's important to recognize that it's extremely beneficial to return to that state of flow, that state of surrender, and to trust that this is ultimately happening for your greatest and highest good. But I think it's very beautiful when we tap into these emotional undercurrents, and we allow ourselves to forgive ourselves, and when we find forgiveness within ourselves for others as well. But this isn't to say that if someone has treated you absolutely horribly, that you should just forgive them like it's nothing. But ultimately, just coming to a place of higher forgiveness, and knowing that even the even the worst pain in life is here to teach us something valuable. But that's not necessarily to say that it's invalid, or it's something that you should just um, you should just ignore, or that it isn't something that's going to be difficult to move forward from, and to heal from. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that when we have forgiveness for ourselves, it helps it be a bit more easy to forgive others as well. But that's not saying that you necessarily have to, or you should. But sometimes in that place of forgiveness, it really helps us free ourselves and liberate ourselves to a much greater extent. And ultimately, that helps clear our energy, and helps us move forward with life with a lot more lightness and a lot more clarity. But ultimately, to come back to that feeling of love, to come back to that feeling of safety, nourishing ourselves with grace and with compassion, and speaking kindly to ourselves and to others as well, and maybe being open to external support from a partner or from a mother figure within your life, or a divinely feminine energy, if that makes any sense. Someone who embodies those traits of the divine feminine and who helps you come back to that place of trust, love, and serenity within yourself, and who helps you realize that you have much more power than you may realize, and that you can tap into those emotional undercurrents, those intuitive knowings, and those psychic visions, that you can trust, that you can trust yourself, and that there's so much love available for you if you're able to look at it and acknowledge it. Oftentimes it's right there within our reach. And even if you don't have a solid support system available to you, there's always yourself that you can count on and trust. And even if you feel alone in this life, there's always going to be some kind of support available for you if you reach out for it and look for it and take advantage of those opportunities that present themselves. Because ultimately, a lot of the time when we feel alone, it's only because we are just hiding in our shell, and we're not allowing ourselves to express ourselves and to reach out for that support when we need it. I think that may be an important message for some of you as well, to reach out for that support if you feel like you're alone, or like there's someone who's not immediately close to you who you can count on to work through some of these emotions and to process some of these traumas even. I think in opening yourself up to these new energies and that frequency of love, forgiveness, and compassion, that ultimately that will really help you integrate some of these lessons and to really work through some of those darker aspects of your life, maybe traumas or just painful experiences of the past. But I guess I'm rambling here, but basically what I'm trying to say is that a beautiful new opportunity and radiant love is coming forth for you. I can really feel it. I can really see it. And I think that if you don't feel like you're quite ready for this yet, then that's okay too. And ultimately you can come back to that inner mother within yourself who you can always count on to nourish, nurture, and help support you with love and compassion as you learn to trust yourself on an even deeper level. And the next card that we have here is the Three of Pentacles. So what this really tells me is that perhaps within this new partnership, this new romantic offer that is coming forth for you, this could be a time of beautiful collaborations. Maybe you are meeting this person through some kind of group project together that maybe you have at school or at work. This isn't going to necessarily be the same for everyone, but I just kind of had that feeling that you could potentially be meeting this person through, like I said, some kind of group activity, some kind of group project, or a form of collaboration. And this is really telling me that there's also that beautiful presence and that beautiful energetic gift that both of you have to make this something that's harmonious and something that's beneficial for an even larger group, I guess you could say. But I think you both have something special to give to this relationship. If that is the case for how it resonates with you, I think you both have something beneficial to offer the relationship and something to offer the collective, as well as you work together productively and with respect and consideration, that you both have your own ways of going about things, your own ways of interpreting things, and how you can also learn from each other as well. Learn and inspire each other on an even greater level. And that you can trust those new intuitive insights that are flowing into you, and how you can incorporate that in a much broader way that kind of portrays and embodies the different strengths that both of you have, working together harmoniously and co-creating something beautiful, magnetic, and radiant. So the next card that we have here is the Queen of Swords. And what this tells me is that I think as you are coming into this place of loving collaboration, loving collaboration and co-creation, and you're tuning into that inner mother within yourself, that inner sense of compassion, love, and intuition, and having a greater level of connection to your emotions and the beauty and the lighter side of life. I think it's also important to realize that in some situations it will benefit you more so to use logic and discernment in the way that you embody your life and you make your decisions. And this isn't to say that this is always the way that you should go about things, but I think it's very important to embody the Queen of Cups energies and the Queen of Swords energies to balance emotions and logic, your heart and your mind. And only you will know what the correct balance of these different energetic frequencies are for you personally. But like I said, I think it's important for you to tune into that deep intuitive wisdom within yourself, to trust those emotional frequencies and those currents that are beneath the surface, but to also look at things logically, rationally, and discerningly, so you can protect your heart and you can make sure that you're acting from a place of self-respect, dignity, and making sure that you have solid boundaries also for relationships, making sure that you have solid boundaries, solid foundations, thinking things through clearly, and really asking yourself the difficult questions also, whether or not this collaboration is something that's benefiting me, or is this something that is detracting from my sense of sovereignty, from my sense of independence and self-love? Is this connection something that I feel is helping me expand and grow at a greater level? Or is it something that keeps me feeling small, feeling like I can't fully embody my own gifts and my own unique qualities? So just being very honest and compassionate with yourself at this time, but not necessarily to completely disregard this romantic, lighthearted, whimsical side of life. I think, like I said, it's important to find that balance, and only you will know what's right for you as far as this goes. But I think this is just something to keep in the back of your mind as you explore this deeper internal wisdom of yourself, and as you tune back into that sacred inner mother, while also allowing yourself to be a little bit freer, to be a little bit lighter, more lighthearted, a little bit more, like I was saying, like whimsical, romantic, but also have that clarity and that sobering kind of discerning energy also. Letting those energies collaborate and co-create together in balance. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw some oracle cards from our Moonology deck now. We'll see what else the universe wants you to know. Okay, so the first card that we have here is the full moon in Pisces, forgive. The next card that we have is the last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up. Very interesting here. So I'll go ahead and talk about these cards. So we have a full moon, and then we also have a last quarter moon. I did also just want to say that you could have placements in the astrological placements in the sign of Pisces or Leo that could be something significant for you, but always take it as it resonates, and it's completely okay if you do not have placements in those signs, but it just might be something to take into consideration. And I really love the beautiful energy of this full moon in Pisces card here. And the full moon it's a time of things coming to full illumination, things manifesting themselves, coming to light, and how those intentions that we've put forth out into the universe are, like I said, they are manifesting, and things are beginning to really come full circle. And this is an opportunity for us to really relish in those blessings and those gifts, and to really trust in that feeling of love and serenity as well. And this the sign of Pisces is all about letting go and all about attuning to a higher level of spiritual awareness and realizing that we are part of something much bigger, much broader, and how we are really like a drop in the ocean, but that ocean wouldn't exist if there weren't those drops, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that's necessarily the best metaphor for that, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that we are significant, that we are the universe, and the universe is within us. We are within the universe, and the universe is within us. And I think that this is really telling us that we do have that divine connection. We do have that spiritual gift of knowing, of releasing, and surrendering to the greater meaning of everything. And to always remember that we are connected to source, to the universe, to spirit, and that we can forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we've made, for when we haven't always acted in alignment with that higher path and that higher knowing, when we haven't followed our intuition, that it's okay to make mistakes, and to know that we can forgive ourselves, and that we can now move forward with a greater level of trust, awareness, and strength, that we can follow that inner knowing that we have, and to trust what does or does not serve us, because you'll know what's best for you better than anyone else will. And this could also be a sign that as we come into this full illumination, this greater knowing, this new manifestation of surrender and trust, trusting our emotions, trusting those inner callings, those beautiful new romantic creative insights that we have, that, like I said, it's okay to forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made, and to also know that it's okay to forgive others as well. And I see these two cards next to each other here, and that kind of makes me feel like maybe it's okay to forgive someone who has maybe hurt you in the past. This isn't to say that this is how it should be for everyone in every situation, but maybe that person, maybe this masculine, divine masculine Knight of Cups figure is coming back into your life, and they've done a lot of work on themselves, and they are now ready to show up with greater love, greater respect, greater strength to help you show up as your best self as well, to co-create and collaborate in a beautiful partnership. I think this could be saying that for some of you, it's okay to forgive that person, and it's okay to forgive yourself for the past, and that you were both trying to figure things out as best as you could from that place of consciousness that you were in that previous state. But now it's a time for both of you to show up fully and completely, and to know that you're both headed in the right direction, and that you can really learn a lot from each other, and how these lessons are always unfolding for us. That I think it's necessary for us to have that discernment, that those boundaries, that self-respect, when someone is coming back to us after a period of turmoil or separation, when that person might not have respected you, or they may not have shown up in the way that you needed them to or wanted them to. I think this could also be letting you know that they were doing the best they could within that previous time of that situation, but they've learned a lot, and they they have now kind of seen you as this beautiful, dynamic, and um, fluid, divine feminine being, because we have these two queens here. Maybe they kind of see you as embodying both of these traits, that discernment, that logic, that clarity, and that loving, emotionally supportive, nurturing, mothering energy. Also, how you kind of embody both of those different energetic archetypes. And they've seen the work that you put in, and they've seen how you kind of use these energies to collaborate with each other in a harmonious and balanced way. And they're understanding that you have put in that effort in order to protect yourself energetically, and to grow on a spiritual level as well. And they have also put in the work to grow on a spiritual level. And I think it's time for maybe both of you to forgive each other, and to maybe to carry on, and to really see where the connection brings you. And like I was saying, always take this as it resonates, because this is definitely not going to be the situation for everyone's relationship, especially if this person has hurt you, disrespected you, left you really feeling horrible about yourself, and about your life, feeling hopeless. But I guess that I'm also kind of thinking that this, in a lot of ways, that we kind of have to own our own role in these dynamics as well. And ultimately, we can't expect the other person to be the only one who puts forth effort in growing as a person, and in really working on um, those those less evolved parts of themselves. I think we have a responsibility to show up and to do the work on ourselves as well. That this is like I was saying, this is a mutual collaboration. And I think you're both learning from each other, and you're really kind of experimenting to see what works and what doesn't, and maybe learning how to communicate more clearly, so you are able to understand where those boundaries are. How do you want to feel on a daily basis in the relationship? But also having that compromise, and that understanding that things aren't always going to be, that we can't always look at the world through these rose tinted glasses, and to know that things aren't always going to be perfect. But ultimately, we can kind of swing between these two energies here, where we come back to that sense of that loving center, and that nurturing mother archetype within ourselves, and how we can love and nourish and forgive ourselves and others, to tune into those emotions, and to have that greater sense of that psychic spiritual connection within the relationship, and within our whole lives as well. But swinging between those dynamics of that, and of having that discernment, that those boundaries, that self-protection, that self preservation. but knowing that those two different dynamics can coexist, and they can exist in balance and harmony, and that different situations will require a different type of energetic embodiment. But yeah, just forgiving yourself, forgiving others when they when they are worthy of that, when they have put in the work, when you feel like they are going to be a person who, like, when you feel like their presence within your life is something that serves your overall everyday existence, and you really truly feel safe and feel nourished within the relationship, and they have acknowledged the they have acknowledged maybe how they haven't shown up in the best possible way in the past, and they've put in that work, and they are showing signs that they are continuing to move forward in a better way, showing up for you and really listening to you, and you're listening to them and communicating healthily and clearly and effectively, respecting boundaries, speaking up when things aren't in alignment with you. Then I think that in that situation, then it probably is, or it possibly is, worth considering having forgiveness. And even if you do forgive this person, this isn't necessarily meaning that they should come back into your life. I think that oftentimes when we forgive others, it's just really just letting that pain go, and really just transmuting that from a higher place. But this isn't necessarily to say that they are worthy of having that connection with you. And this isn't to say that, they don't deserve love or they're a horrible person. But maybe they are not in alignment with you as an individual, as a soul, and that you ultimately deserve better in life, and that they just aren't aligned with that future that you're creating for yourself, because you've been doing that work to evolve spiritually and to work on those emotional expressions and the experience of sitting with emotional depth and exploring those hidden undercurrents of the psyche and of the spirit. But I guess I feel like I'm rambling here, but I think this is a really good opportunity for you to embrace that dynamic of maybe even just considering having a bit more forgiveness in your life for yourself and for others, but also having those boundaries, that discernment, and protecting yourself from internal and external forces that feel like they deplete your power and take away that sense of confidence and freedom within your life. Now, we also have the last quarter moon in Leo. So the last quarter moons are a time of release, of really letting things go, letting things come full circle, and clearing the space for a new opportunity and a new beginning within the void of the unknown, as we allow that space in that room for the next chapter to emerge for us. But as we release, we also, as we are releasing with this last quarter moon, we also have this within the sign of Leo, which is all about our confidence, our boldness, our sense of empowerment and courage to move forth in our lives in a way that helps us live in our power and our self-expression. This last quarter moon is asking us to lighten up, and I think this could really embody kind of what I was talking about, of having that more that that lightheartedness, that romantic, creative, whimsical existence of life, experience of life, to not take things so seriously. And as we do that work to release the past, to forgive, to release what hasn't served us, and asking ourselves what kind of energy, what kind of mentality do we want to carry forward into the future, into the new beginning. This is ultimately helping us find a greater level of empowerment and strength and self-confidence in ourselves as we learn to balance these different dynamics of our spirituality and our lives. But kind of lightening up and allowing ourselves to stop and smell the flowers, to take a look at the sunset, to look at the moon, to really see that beauty, to witness it, to feel it deeply to the core of our being, to understand that life isn't always so serious. And even though we are releasing something that may be kind of heavy, I think the group 2 also got this card as well. This is asking us to release something that may have been very, very heavy, very draining, very demoralizing in a lot of ways. But this is ultimately releasing those old patterns and leading us in a new direction that helps us step into our power and our courage, and knowing that we have a beautiful gift to express within this life, and that there's so much support and so much love available for us if we choose to tap into it. And this doesn't have to even come from an external relationship or anything external. This is something that can be cultivated from our relationships with ourselves and with the universe and spirit as well. But to lighten up, to take a moment to take a deep breath and to really soak in the beauty, the radiance, and the divinity that is existence. So I think that might be something to really consider within this reading. So I'll go ahead and finish this reading off with a few more oracle cards from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. Now with this deck, I do like to read the descriptions because I think they really help add a lot more insight and guidance within the reading. So we'll see what we have here. We have this, it says yes, just say yes. We also have Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. Okay, so I hope you can see these cards. I might move things a little bit. Okay, just want to make sure that you can see these. So I'll go ahead and begin by reading this oracle card here. Yes. Okay. Don't overthink it. Just say yes. Okay, so I think that pretty much speaks for itself. And this is really asking you to say yes to these new opportunities, to say yes to this new opportunity to find that romance, that love, that lightheartedness and creativity within your life. And this is an opportunity to just say yes to yourself, to say yes to the future, to fully embody that beauty, that strength, and forgiving yourself for everything that feels like it's been a very deep challenge for you. Okay, so sorry about the little interruption, but where was I? I was just saying that I think within this situation that it's important for you to say yes to these new opportunities, this new opportunity for love and for that divine forgiveness, not only for yourself, but for others as well. And this isn't to say that this is for every situation, but I think this is definitely a sign that it is okay to trust this new beginning and this new chapter in your life, that even if things didn't feel like they were in alignment or they were working out in the past, that this is a new chapter. This is a new a new beginning for you, and that you really should, if you feel that divine connection, if you feel that calling, that you should really go for it, to say yes to this new beginning, and to remember that you only did the best with what you had in the past, and that there's no sense in beating yourself up about it, because you did the best that you could with the knowledge that you had at the time. But really, ultimately, to surrender and trust, to follow that intuition, that divine guidance, and to really trust those emotions within yourself as well, because I think those can oftentimes be the most powerful guides for us. And I think this could also indicate that it's okay to say yes to this new partner that may be coming forth for you, or to say yes to this current partner or this new offer. I could even see this as being like an engagement. Maybe this is your sign to say yes to that person. Maybe you see that there is the potential for a beautiful future together, and a beautiful life, and co-creation and harmony that both of you can embody as a team. And it's okay to forgive that person for their mistakes, and it's okay to forgive yourself for not showing up in the best way that you could. But it was all part of the process. It was all part of the growth. And to really know that you are on the right track, and that you can say yes to this beautiful new beginning, this new future, this new blessing. I could even see this as being like a proposal, getting married and having a family together eventually. That divine connection, and knowing that you can trust yourself, that you can trust that message that the universe is bringing forth for you. Now, the final oracle card that we have here is this card of Pleiades, and I'll go ahead and read the description here for this. Okay. Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. The Pleiadians are a group of star beings dedicated to raising the vibration of the planet and sharing new consciousness through creations and technology. They have been incarnating on Earth since near the beginning of humanity. You are a soul who has a double mission: to grow at a soul level and to raise the vibration of the planet. If you have been called to write, speak, or channel, this is your sign to keep doing it. Your work is divinely guided. Of all the souls, Pleiadians are the chattiest, and so perhaps you have already started channeling some of this work into the third dimension. Thank you for doing your part in the great plan. Your presence and unique light is needed. I call upon Pleiadian consciousness of the highest realms and highest good of humanity to work through me. Let me be a channel for only the purest light of the essence of Source. Let me channel in a way that also serves me. So I think this is very beautiful energy, and whether or not you believe in the whole idea of star seeds and galactic beings, you could interpret this card in a few different ways. And if you do resonate with that concept, then this could be your sign that you are a member of that cosmic soul family. Or this could also mean that you have, without, even if you don't believe in that this is something, that this message and this energetic symbolism is something that you can carry forth and integrate into your everyday life. And by that, I mean that idea of working with the collective to embody your light and your gifts in the world in a way that helps the collective energy. And by doing the work on yourself, and by allowing yourself to heal, to spread that love, to spread those spiritual gifts, and whatever it is that you feel like you bring to this world, whether that's your creativity, your voice, your I don't even know, whatever it is, I think this is your sign that by doing this work to uplift yourself, that you're also uplifting humanity and the collective in an even greater way. But whatever your gift may be, just know that it is something that is helping. It's helping the world, and it's helping not only yourself but many others as well. And by maybe this is even just doing the healing work. Maybe this is something that inspires others to heal themselves as well, having that hope and that faith that things can get better. But whether your gift is something creative or not, I think that it's ultimately something that's going to serve the greater collective consciousness, and that you can say yes to your gifts, that you can say yes to that divine spirit within yourself, and to really trust it, to really know it, and to also protect it, to have solid boundaries with those who you feel are dimming your light, who are draining your energy, knowing that you can protect yourself, trust yourself, and really have this balance of love and respect, that you can also choose to really take a moment of peace, serenity, and presence, to appreciate the present moment, and recognize that it's okay to have forgiveness, and it's okay to let go of the past, to let go of past versions of yourself and past versions of others, after we've done the work and we've taken the time to integrate these lessons and to embody a new level of consciousness and a new type of energetic expression. So I hope that this reading resonated with you, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here, and it's been an absolute privilege to bring you this reading. And if this reading brought you some new insight or touched you in some way, I just wanted to say that I always would appreciate it if you would consider leaving a tip, and you can find how to do that. I'll have my Venmo and Cashapp linked in the description, so you can do that if you choose to. But I just also wanted to say that it's something that's never expected, but it's always very much appreciated. And I'm sending you so much light, so much love, and infinite blessings upon your journey. Thank you so much.